You love it here.
It is pretty.
Not if you look closely.
Calm down, soldier.
Don't tell me to calm down. Do you not understand that there was something in the mist? We gotta get guns. Whoa. No. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming!
6 people were found dead, presumably killed by a bear. The legend of nature turning sour. Some locals hear it's a black spring.
We're at the mall. Dad, please.
Judgment Day has come.
If there's something out there, how are you gonna survive?
Do you even know where to point that thing?
Lock the doors!
I think we need to establish a set of rules.
Let's get out of this town. It can't be all over.
The Lord will save us.
That's very sweet, Father, but there's really no need. Everything in nature has a purpose, even violence.
I'll do whatever it takes to get to my family. Do you understand?
If this is Judgment Day, she will be judged for it.
Everyone who's gone into the mist has died. Except her. Except Alex.
We have the right to defend ourselves!
What did you do?
Mother Earth is never wrong. She knows what she's doing. And so will we if we observe her.
Look me in the eye. And tell me you don't see evil.
Wow. It's beautiful.
This show is based on a book called The Mist by Stephen King. On one hand, it's the story of a seemingly innocent mist that one day drifts into the small town of Bridgeville, Maine. And on the other hand, it's a more character-driven story about a family facing its own worst fear when the daughter is sexually assaulted, the parents are torn apart in an argument.
My family's at the mall. I've got to get to them.
There's a group stuck in the mall, and there's a group that ends up in the church, and then even within there, partnerships and alliances start.
What do you want?
And then also people's true natures start to come out.
The basic functions of a town are no longer working, so the things that you take for granted every day are wiped out.
It's like all rules of the norm are out, and you're going stir crazy, and there's not enough food and supplies, and it's like every man for themselves.
Pretty soon it becomes clear that whatever is in the mist is not natural, and if you walk out there, you will die.
What happens if a society becomes ruled by fear?
Run for it.
I think it's just such a great metaphor to the world right now. Everyone just gripping with fear and anger.
Do you have something to confess?
I don't think there's a show out there quite like this one.
I think that's the most exciting thing about the show is these sort of like very strange psychological moments.
All the characters, especially as you continue in the episodes, are also fully drawn.
When I went out there for you in the mist, I could feel it in every part of me. Once you people see the first episode, they're gonna want to see more and more and more.
I think that it will be very engrossing for an audience just to follow what happens to all these people in this small town.
If you were in this situation, what would you do to survive?
It's coming!
Mrs. Carmody,
You should be ashamed of yourself.
why?
Because you can raise your child any way you want to, and clearly you have. But leave my child out of it.
You pathetic bitch.
I like it
because I think she's pretty feisty. In a lot of small communities all over the world, I think we see this, that people know everybody else's business. Eve has a little bit of a past that the small town is aware of, and it's been hard for her to shake it off. She's also dealing with her own struggles with the fact that her daughter's becoming a woman.
You wanna come?
Alex is not old enough for a party. One of her deepest fears is that her daughter is going to perhaps repeat some of Eve's mistakes.
It's time to let her go.
The mist really incites her to action.
If I see you touching her, I will put a bullet in whatever body part you touch her with.
She's not thinking about herself. It's all about Alex and keeping her safe and alive. It brings some stuff out in Eve that makes her willing to do whatever she needs to do.
I grew up with The Shining and Carrie and It and all these films that I saw when I was way too young.
I'm actually a total scaredy cat, so I stay away from horror stuff.
I've read a lot of his books. It, I read The Dead Zone. I just saw The Shining again for the first time in years, and that movie is just terrifying.
I grew up in a very small town in Denmark. What I would do every Monday, I would go to the local library where I actually worked, so I would get first access to all the new books coming in, and it would always be the Stephen King books. I think the first one I read was Carrie when I was 11. I grew up with them. I think Stephen King understands human nature.
He makes people seem like your neighbor, recognizable kind of a person, and then with one word, he just takes you right off the cliff into this moment of great fear.
Okay, get in the car. We gotta go.
What is it?
He's resonating still because he writes about themes that are very primal.
The reason that the monsters are scary is because you understand how they affect each of the different people that he creates. The fact that there's this sense that this world that he's made is not really different from our world, but that world has terrifying monsters in it. It makes it all seem much more real and immediate.
What's out there?
What I've always loved about Stephen King is it's so personal, and he's processing his own darkness. I just think he's a true artist, that whatever's going on in the world is coming through him, and maybe his prisms about terror and fear and horror, but there's something going on in the world that brings that up.
Come with us. Help us restore order.
To take his knowledge of fear and humanity and put it into a character and have that character evolve or devolve as he sees fit. That's really the mastery of his books.
Something in the mist. It's on its way.
Death supports life.
I see you.